Dear students, this is our 28th lecture on medicinal chemistry, and today we will discuss psychoactive drugs. Psychoactive drugs are substances, they affect how the brain works and causes changes in mood awareness, thoughts, feelings, or behavior. So basically these types of drugs, they will affect our behavior and feelings towards many things. The common examples of psychoactive drugs or substances, they include alcohol. We are very much aware of this substance, that alcohol can affect our brain, and our mood may change based on consumption of alcohol. Then caffeine is another substance which can affect our drugs and feelings. Then nicotine, marijuana, and then some other pain relieving medicines, they also act as psychoactive substances. Then globally there are some illegal drugs such as heroin, LSD, and cocaine and amphetamines. They are also called as psychoactive substances because they also affect our brain, and they cause changes in mood, awareness, thoughts, feeling, or behavior of a person. These psychoactive substances, they are also called as psychotropic substances. So these are the chemical structure of some of the commonly used psychoactive substance by the people. Psilocybin, this is an indole phosphate derivative. You can see that this is the structure for cocaine, and this is an alkaloid having tertiamine over here and these two ester moieties. Then amphetamines, these are primary amines basically. Then LSD, this again is having an indole ring, and then this amide linkage which are active as psychoactive drug. Then methylone, this one ketonic amine. Then phenyl, then heroin. All these heroin or cocaine, they belong to the category of alkaloids, which act as psychoactive substances. Then psychoactive substances, they have been traditionally classified based on pharmacological effect they produce in the human body, so, when they are consumed. So, as far as based on pharmacological effect, the classification has been made under these three types of substances: hallucinogens, then stimulants, and depressants. Hallucinogens, they are the psychoactive substances which alter the human sensory perception in such a way that the user perceives a distorted reality in that time, space, colors, and forms which are shown to the person. He sees them as deformed entities. So most common among these is LSD and psilocybin. So these two substances, when these are taken by anybody, then that person will see that colors and forms of different kind of environment will be deformed. Then next category is stimulants. Stimulants are those psychoactive substances which speed up the activity of the central nervous system. So our central nervous system becomes more active if we take these types of substances. So then when these substances or stimulants are taken, then the user generally feel more alert, euphoric and more energetic. Then common example of stimulants is amphetamines, cocaine and methylone. So all these amphetamines, methylone and cocaine, they come under the category of stimulants. Then is depressants. So depressants, they show an activity completely opposite to stimulants. So they will slow down the activity of the central nervous system. So when anybody takes these depressants, he will usually feel more relaxed, sleepy, and less sensitive to pain. So, depressants will cause our central nervous system to work more slowly. The common examples they are heroin, methadone, then fentanyl. So all these heroin, methadone, and fentanyl, all these are examples of depressant psychoactive substances. Then another classification of psychoactive substances was given by U.S. Enforcement Administration. According to them, psychoactive substances have been classified into these five categories. So this first category we have already discussed: hallucinogens, then stimulants and depressants. These are the same as the classification based on the pharmacological action. Then two more categories they have been added: narcotics and anabolic steroids. So these narcotics and anabolic steroids, they are synthetic substances which will stimulate the natural male hormones that are abused to promote muscle growth or enhance the athletic and physical capability of a person, and usually they will stimulate in case of males. Then another classification of psychoactive substances based on psychopharmacological activity. This is adopted by United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, and here the psychoactive substances they have been grouped into six major categories. First is sedatives and hypnotics, then dissociatives, hallucinogens, stimulants, cannabinoids, and opioids. The dissociative drugs and cannabinoids, they are also considered under hallucinogenic substances. So they were studied under this category in U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration and pharmacological classification. Then basically psychoactive substances they affect the neurotransmission, and neurotransmitters basically they are chemical messengers to our body. So they carry messages from one nerve cell across a space to the next nerve cell or muscle or gland cell. So these messages which are transmitted by these neurotransmitters, they help us move our limbs, feel sensation, and keep our heart beating. And basically, they take in and respond to all information our body receives from one internal part of our body and the environment. So that means neurotransmitters, they are very important for the normal movement of the body. The nerve cell basically is made of three parts. First is a cell body. A cell body is vital to produce neurotransmitters and maintaining the function of the nerve cell. Then this nerve body is joined by an axon. Uh, the axon carries the electric signal along the nerve cell to the axon terminal. And this is the third part, that is axon terminal. So here the electrical message is changed to a chemical signal using neurotransmitters to communicate with the next group of nerve cells or muscle cells or other organs of the body. So these terminal axons or terminal buttons, they will form junctions with other cell, and other the terminal buttons of other cells, they will join the this nerve cell, and through this the electric signal will be converted into a chemical signal and will be transmitted to the other cell. The neurotransmitters, they are located in a part of neuron called as axon terminal. As I've told you, these are the axon terminals, and thousands of these neurotransmitter molecules are stored within thin walled sacs, which are called as synaptic vesicles. And the action or the signal is passed through these synaptic vesicles to the synaptic vesicles of the other nerve cell. So, for example, say this is one nerve cell and this is another nerve cell which will be receiving the signal. This will be giving the neural impulse from one nerve cell to the other nerve cell. So basically, as a message or a signal travels along a nerve cell, the electrical charge of the signal causes the vesicles of the neurotransmitter to fuse with the nerve cell membrane at a very edge of the cell. So you can see this is edge of the uh, other cell which will receive the signal. So here the cell membrane of this will fuse with the axon terminal of the other nerve cell. So then the message will be released from the axon terminal into fluid filled space that is between one nerve cell and the next target cell. You can see this is the receptor site of the receiving neuron, and this is the nerve cell of the axon terminal of the nerve cell which is giving away the signal. So this synaptic cleft will transfer the electric signal changed into chemical fluid, and that will be transferred to the other receptor site of the receiving neuron. So this is how the message is transferred from one nerve cell to the other nerve cell or muscle cell or other part of the body. And this the um, space which is called as synaptic junction, this is responsible for transfer of the message, and that is 40 nanometer wide. This one you can see that how small this is, because width of the human hair is about 75,000 nanometers. So each type of neurotransmitter lands on and binds to a specific receptor on the target cell and transmits its message. Now, neurotransmitters, as I've told you, they transmit the message from one nerve cell to the other nerve cell or muscle cell or other part of the body. And these messages, depending upon the specific neurotransmitter. And these have been classified into these three types: excitatory, inhibitory, or modulatory neurotransmitters. Excitatory neurotransmitters are those which will excite the neuron and cause to fire off the message. Means the message will continue to be passed along to the next cell. The neurotransmitters which are under this category, they are glutamate, epinephrine, and non-epinephrine. They come under the category of excitatory neurotransmitters. Then inhibitory neurotransmitters are those which will block or prevent the chemical message from being passed from any nerve cell to the other nerve cell. And example of such type of neurotransmitters, they are gamma aminobutyric acid, that is GABA, glycine, and serotonin. All these they belong to inhibitory category of neurotransmitters. Then modulatory neurotransmitters, they often influence the effect of other chemical messengers. So what they will do, they will tweak or adjust how cells communicate at the synapses. So these are the third category of neurotransmitters. Now, once the neurotransmitter has conveyed its message or delivered its message, that means then that molecule must be cleared from the synaptic cleft. Synaptic cleft is this one, which is the space between nerve cell and the next target cell. So this clearing of the synaptic cleft can be achieved in three ways. One is diffusion, that is that these axons, they will fade away from the other part of the body, or this can be done by reuptake, that is reabsorbed and reused by the nerve cell that releases it, or by a process called as degradation. That is, they are broken down, neurotransmitters, they are broken down by the enzymes within the synapse, so it can be recognized or bind to the receptor cell. So these are the processes of the neurotransmissions in case of our body. And these messaging process is affected by the psychoactive substance. Either it becomes stimulant or it becomes retardatory. Now, next is CNS depressants or central nervous system depressants. They are psychoactive substances that slow down the brain activity and which causes the muscles to relax and calm and soothes a person. So, they are generally used to treat insomnia. That is, if anyone has a trouble in sleeping, then these types of substances, they can be used, CNS depressants. Then to lower down the anxiety in any human being, we can use these CNS depressants. Then if a person is having some panic attacks or seizures, then also the prescription the prescription is CNS depressants. The most commonly used CNS depressants are benzodiazepines, barbiturates, and certain sleep reducing medicines. And these are also sometimes called as sedatives or tranquilizers. So depressants, they are used medicinally to relieve the following symptoms, as I have told you earlier also: generalized anxiety, social anxiety or panic attacks, that is anxiety disorders, insomnia. Then obsessive compulsive disorder, if somebody is having seizures, convulsions, depression, pain. So treat all these types of diseases, generally CNS depressants they are used. Then they are also used as general anesthetics. Though sorry, general anesthetics, they are group of drugs which produces loss of consciousness in our body, and we can lose all our sensations if we take anesthetics. The absolute loss of sensation, this is termed as anesthesia. And general anesthesia will bring about descending depression of the central nervous system, starting the cerebral cortex and basal ganglia, cerebellum, and finally the spinal cord. So these general anesthetics, they are used for the surgical operations to induce unconsciousness, therefore abolish the sensation of pain. The anesthesia was used as early as 1844 by using N2O as the anesthetic for tooth extraction by Horswills, a dentist. Then chloroform was used by Simpson in Britain for obstetrical purposes in 1847. Then thiopentone was used for intravenous anesthetic in 1935. Then 1901, Mayer and Overton, they used lipid water partition coefficient of general anesthetics, and uh, the anesthetic property known as minimal alveolar concentration, the lowest concentration of an anesthetic which can be used for in response to a painful stimulus in 50% of the individuals. The classification of anesthetics is that they can be termed as inhalation anesthetics or intravenous anesthetics. Inhalation anesthetics, they could be either volatile liquids or gases, and they are administered through inhalation process. Most common examples, they are ether, ethyl chloride, vinyl ether, cyclopropane, halothane, methoxyfluorine, trichloroethylene, nitrous oxide, and chloroform. Whereas intravenous anesthetics is, they are used intravenously alone or in combination with other drugs to achieve the anesthetic state for minute surgery of patient in intensive care unit. So these drugs, they include barbiturates like thiopental and methotrexate, then benzodiazepines, midazolam and diazepam, then opioid analgesics, morphine, fentanyl, and remifentanil, then propofol, ketamine, and other miscellaneous intravenous anesthetics like droperidol, etomidate, and dexmedetomidine. So these are the references which have been used for preparing this lecture. Thank you very much.